It's possible to require that your program be assembled in a certain way. For example, you could require that a certain value be defined, and that definition will determine how the assembly proceeds. The code that would do something like that could be written this way. One block of code is assembled if the defined value is 1, another block for 2. But if it is neither 1 nor 2, an error is generated. One of 3 levels of messages can be generated. The lowest level is a warning message. This preprocessor directive outputs the text of the message when the program is being assembled, but the assembly process continues and an object file will be generated if nothing else goes wrong. The next level is an error message. This will output the text of the message and the assembly will continue so other errors may be found, but no output file is generated. This error must be fixed to get an object file. The third level is a fatal message. The text of the message is output and the assembly process halts immediately. Now this is useful if the condition that caused the error could cause a continuous stream of error messages. One preprocessor command is different from all the others in the way it comes about. It is not written by the programmer, it is written by the preprocessor, or it could be written by the compiler which generates the assembly language. It's the line directive. As arguments, it accepts line number and a file name. It's used to inform the assembler that the current line relates to a specific line in another file. The assembler uses this information when it generates error messages and such. Typically, the file is the original source file, so the error message will give you the file name and line number of the original source. You will also see line numbers written in this form, with a second number followed by a plus sign. That is a count of the number of lines of the assembly language that correspond to a single line of the source code. But don't worry about the line directive. You won't need to use it unless you're writing a compiler or a preprocessor. Using a percent sign with an exclamation point allows you to include the value of an environment variable in your code. An example of a way of using this is if you have an environment variable named maxint, you can include the definition in your program by using a define command to create a one-line macro and using the %! operator to retrieve the value of maxint from the environment. If you want to include the value of maxint inside a quoted string, you can't do that directly. If you do it this way, you will get a quoted string beginning with a percent sign and an exclamation point, not the value of the variable. However, there is a way to do it. This way, the preprocessor converts all 3 one-line macros before the define byte command is assembled. And that way, you got the quoted string you were after. Well, sort of. It does have blank characters included in the string at the beginning and end.